Okay. It worked the first time. First attempt. Okay. I'm a little bit early. Ellen Cole. Your door prize is the golf clap. Yeah. Can you hear that? Let her rip, tater chip. All right. I got a tater chip that I'm going to let rip. Yeah. But it's not a tater chip yet. Jordan's here. David's here. Smallzilla or Harley is here. Happy Wednesday. I got a little bit of a different setup. Hopefully, this lighting is okay. The background's not as dark as before, so I think it might be more clear, actually. Yeah, that's the hope, anyway. Who else we have? We have Kiowa is here. JF Baird. Mike Tufts. Hello, hello. Hey, hey. Jordan Kirkpatrick is here. No blurs. Yeah, no blurs. I bought some different curtains, and I use drywall screws to hang it up temporarily. We'll see. I'll put something cool in the background soon enough. Jesse is here. Howdy, howdy. Smallzilla says lighting looks good. I think it keeps the colors cohesive and doesn't blow anything out too much with the white balance. Yeah, if I keep all the colors kind of muted, it doesn't do funny things. Yeah. Stidley Designs is here. Alan Cole is here. Aaron Wilson is here. Hello, hello. Dang, 14 people right away. And it's not even 2 o'clock Eastern time yet. Okay. Cleared my throat. Hopefully that's the only time I got to do that. But you know how it goes. Let's drink a lot of water before it gets started. Let's get cracking and thwacking. Yeah, hold on a second. Wait till 2 o'clock exactly. Yeah. Besides, there's probably not enough people going, when is it going to start napping? When those people leave, then I can start napping. Yeah. You know how it goes, right? What type of stone gets turned to a marble today? Any kind of stone. See, to nap marbles is actually pretty easy. So you can use any kind of stone for that. Let's see if this is good for the anglage. Can you see angles? I don't know. Let's just do this. I got a new Flintknapping bag. Well, that's actually not new. I bought it a long time ago. But I usually don't put my Flintknapping stuff in a bag like that. I don't know why. I think it's because it's hard for me to fish around in there. I want to fill it all up too. Let's see. Let's smack some rocks. This is actually like Paternalis chert, similar to root beer. It's it's not quite amoeba, but it looks like amoeba chert. See, it's got banding in it. I think it may be a heat treat. I think I might have already sampled some. I got this from Sal. Yeah. All right, who else we got? Rain ended my workday. I'm glad, says Mike Tufts. JF Baird. Yeah, don't any of you all have a job? Ellen Cole says, smash that like button. Yeah. Jesse says, my marbles are getting a little thinner. Awesome. They're turning into almonds. Now you have almonds instead of marbles. Yeah. From here, it looks like 52.6. I see. Kiowa says, I need to get me a good toolbox too. Keep running around for my tools when I need them. Yeah. I usually keep my tools in a bin like this, especially when I'm on the road. But I'm going to start using the canvas bag. I just got to resist filling it up to the brim and sticking all kinds of things on the outside. See, this is a canvas toolbox. I got to resist the temptation of putting a lot of stuff around the outside and filling it all up and making it weigh about 40 pounds. Let's see. Jordan says from here it looks like okay. What else did I miss? Alan Cole says good amount of obsidian from Bill looked like the crazy lace type. Pretty sweet stuff. Yeah, I don't know what to call it, but it had that golden sheen to it. It's like a triple flow with the gold sheen in it. Harley says I get to do a big spring cleanup with my napping station. Flakes and dust are everywhere. Makes my footsteps crunchy. Yeah, we all know that. We all know what that's like. Yeah, crunchy under the footsteps. All right, let's see what we got. I think this is going to be an easy peasy, relatively speaking. Where's my Alan Cole stuff? Not Alan Cole. My Mike Tufts stuffed. Oh, this is mine, just in case. But yeah, all these little Mike Tufts boppers. So what am I going to use today? Let's see. This one, 6 ounce, or should I use the one that I abused the other day? Mike, I ruined it. Yeah, see that? I use it so much that I need to re-epoxy or whatever that is. Repoxy or put pins or both. Probably both. High impact, high molecular weight plastic is awesome. All right, what did I miss? Mike Tuff says, I like the tool bag with the outside pockets or some type of tote with a handle that always stays open with compartments. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. That's a good design when that happens. When you get one like that. I think this at the time, it was like 5 years ago, it was like $5 or $8 for this thing. But like I said, it gets full too fast. I want to put everything in there now. See, because it's only like 20% full, right? That's lame. I need to have it 80% full. Let's see what we got here. Oh, it is a sweet. It's got translucency to it. So, for those of you who are new, my name is Patrick. The channel name is Jack Crafty. Why do I have a different channel name than my own name? What am I, an ex-convict or something? I've actually had somebody ask me that. No, it's because when I started YouTube many, many years ago, it seems, they didn't want you to use your real name. Now they do. They don't care because I guess they have enhanced security or something. But that's why the channel name is not my name. Okay? My name is Patrick Blank. Yeah. There's only one other Blank on YouTube that I know of. Yeah. Let's see. What do we got here? Yes, it's a high bond epoxy, and I also clamp them until it's dry. Yeah. I abuse these things. You saw me the other day. Roy Browski's here. I'm actually rather on time today. It's awesome. Yes, you are on time. Smallzilla says, Pop goes the weasel or bopper. Pop goes the bopper. Alina Sundragon is here. Mikhail HC, hello everyone. Clint Stoner is here. Good afternoon. Bill Taylor, hello. Yep, everyone say hi to everybody. Yes. Johnny Waring is here. Hello. Buckskin NYB is here, or Marty. Hey, Pat, looking forward to getting that KRF from the auction. I almost got sniped again, and I'm glad you took my last bid on those Clovis. Yeah, that was really, really close. But yeah, luckily, I'm able to see who's bidding at the very last minute. Where YouTube there used to be a time lag for me to check to see who's bidding at what time. Used to be a lag, and then by the time I kept refreshing and all that, the timestamp would be wrong. After about 5 to 10 minutes, the little timestamp doesn't always show the correct time. But now as YouTube's getting a little bit better, it's a little bit sharper on knowing what time. So yeah, you were on time and the other guy was not. Mike Mason, hey ho. Let's see. Yeah, I've already sent out my packages. All the packages have been sent out. The last one uh, was sent out. Was the tool. The last one that I sent out today. I only sent one package today. Everything else was on Tuesday. The last one that I sent out was the knapping tools. Yeah, and it's going to New York, so everything should arrive pretty much at the same time for everybody, which means Friday or Saturday. I could check all the receipts in real time. Bill, was that some crazy lace? Yeah, ask Bill what that was. Scott, the old welder. Hey, Patrick, how are you today, my friend? What's your napping schedule for this year? Yeah, I wish I knew. I wish I had was able to do a schedule and keep it. My schedule this year is play it by ear. Yeah, I don't have a schedule, although I do want to make it to the Heart of Texas Napping in Brady. It's probably in October, although I don't have a date for it yet. But and then I want to go to Letchworth, probably in August. They say the August one in Letchworth, New York, is a big one. So I do want to see if I can get to that one. Oh, I like this bopper, but the top is loose. What am I gonna do without that bopper? I gotta use the massive gigantic. It's not massive and gigantic. It's only 14 ounces, but it feels massive compared to the other ones. So I'm going to Letchworth, hopefully in August, and I'm going to Texas, the Heart of Texas Nap-In October. So Letchworth, New York, August. Heart of Texas Nap-In Brady, Texas in October. If they still do it in October, they might change the date. Let's see. Andrew Muntz is here. Hello. What's up, Wes? He calls me Wes. That's kind of cool. Okay. Mike Mason, not at work today. Napping with y'all in my ear today. Paid my dues on point. Yeah. Mike Tuff says in about 2 years, there will be a bopper handles made from black locust. Hey, that's how long it takes to season the black locust. Yeah. Scott, the old welder, says, I'm going to try to make the Flint Ridge Nap-In again this year. Awesome. Bill Taylor says, yeah, it was. So, yeah, Alan got the type of obsidian correct. Marty says, did you use copper or steel on that rock? On this one? Or on the Knife River Flint? It's all copper. Yeah, I use nothing but copper on the KRF, the Knife River Flint. Lance is here from Outcast Metal. What up, Crafty? Same old, every Wednesday. Matthias Melander's here. Hey. I think Matthias is from Denmark. Okay, so the internationals are showing up. Yes. I hope that doesn't offend anyone when I say the internationals. Does that have a negative connotation? I hope not. I think it's cool when people from far away are tuning in live. Okay. Let's see. Lance said, I had to stop my own napping so I could watch you. Done made 4, so it's time for a break anyways. Oh, yeah, after making 4 points? Yes. Alan says, very nice, Bill. I know that swirly triple flow when I see it. That stuff takes some muscle to dig up. So you dug that up? Yeah, that's some work for sure. Marty says the Knife River I sent is what I'm asking about. Oh yeah. I napped that all with copper. Yeah, everything. Even let's see, was the notching copper? No, the notching was steel on the Knife River Flint. I have a copper notcher, but I don't use it. Not that much anyway. I'm trying to remember if I pull that out for a couple of little flakes. I got those little bird beak copper notchers, but I don't know if I pull that out to help it out or not. Mike Tuff says, glue the bopper head to your thumb. Yeah. No. Bill says, yeah, it's tough. So, Bill Taylor, you've been digging out the obsidian. Scott says, take care, Patrick. Maybe I'll see you in Texas. Time to go. Time to weld. Time to go weld. All right. Good to see you, Scott. Yeah, maybe in Texas. Yeah, maybe. I got to go visit my daughter in Arkansas. So, hoping I can do that at the same time as a napping. Yeah. All right. So, what are we going to do? We're going to nap and chat. And make sure we get plenty of both. I'm inside my house right now, but I'm not near the front door. I'm trying to develop, or I'm trying to arrange this area into like a studio so I don't have to keep setting up all kinds of things every time I film. So the only thing I needed to bring in this time, I just brought one thing into the house, and that's my napping kit. Everything else is already here. So that makes it very nice for me. All right. What did I miss? Have you quit using the Nachomatic? Asks Johnny. Nope, I have not quit using it. I actually used the Nachomatic on that Pedernales point from the last auction to blast out a lot of the step fractures and crunchiness that was in there. It's very good for blasting out big chunks. So I used it on that. I stopped using the Nachomatic on the step fractures as much as I used to. I'm finding doesn't give me the results that I really want on the step fractures. Although it does work on step fracturing, I like those flakes. It doesn't really work all that well on the step fracturing, the Nachomatic. Yeah, those flakes are nice too. I can make stuff out of the ones that are nice and flat. Yeah, see? That kind of scooped it a little bit much though. Yeah. That's because it's a big, heavy bopper. I got to get used to it. It's really, really powerful. Yeah. Oops, I got a crack in this right there. What's up with that? I cracked it somehow. Or was it me? Or was it stone? I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I have at least 2 flavors of nachos. Yeah. I got a pointy Nacho-matic and a flat Nacho-matic. See, I don't use them too much in the videos. But didn't I use it I use it a lot recently on the upside down Marshall point. You didn't see that video? Upside down Marshall. I used it all through that video, didn't I? Let's see. Mike Tuff says, let's see. Come on, Edward Bopper Hands. Yeah, I can make my fingers into boppers. That would be Edward Bopper Hands. Okay, I have to get through that crack there. That's a nasty one. Can you see it? Right in through there. I don't know if I did that or if it's part of the stone. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think that was part of the stone. Hope it doesn't go all the way across. Let's pick at it a little bit. So I'm just picking at the edge. see if I can get that out. What did I miss? Looks like some really nice material. Yeah, it is nice. Yep. hmm it might have some issues with cracking, but other than that, yeah. hmm I might be odd, but nice material. I get just as nervous with nice material as I do with bad material. But the results are a lot better with nicer material. Yeah. The only time I can relax really is if I know I have plenty of material. Then I can kind of relax. I don't get the anxiety as much. Can you see? Remember, 52.6 is the angle. If you're looking for the angle, it's always 52.6 or 56.2. Take your pick. How can it be always one or the other? It's a joke. Okay. It's a joke. You know what jokes are. They're supposed to be stupid. That's what makes them funny, because they're stupid. Yeah. All right. Oh, it is flaking nicely. But not that area. Every other area except that area. This is going to be, no, this side, this is going to be nasty. Right there in that one little spot, that's nasty. What did I miss? I thought someone was going to make a copper nacho. Well, Ted Snyder says when he makes his out of copper, it doesn't work right because it starts to mushroom at the point of impact when you that inside where the spring is, the copper starts to mushroom out. He says it doesn't work right. The spring starts getting caught in the mushrooming. It needs a smooth operation. What is a nachomatic? People are saying, you gotta stop talking in these codes. I don't understand the code. What is a nachomatic? It's this thing. There's a very slight tolerance with the spring, between the spring and the metal. And when you start, if you make this part out of copper, it mushrooms inside here and it doesn't operate properly. Now, you can put a union of some sort in here, and cut this off flat, stick a union, with a little set screw, and then put the copper bit in there. Yeah. Or whatever, somebody can figure out how to join the copper to the steel right there without having too much weight. And then, I might be able to screw one on there. Put some threads on the steel and then tap and drill out the copper and then screw a piece of copper on there. I don't know. Of course, the copper you'd screw on there would be a larger diameter, but that's good. Right? Let's see. Bill Taylor says, I use my nacho all the time on Brazilian agate. Works good for the notching. Awesome. See, this one is the pointy one that I made, which is helpful for smaller notches. Much, much helpful. Where's I have one that's a screwdriver or spatula tool. No, not that one. Yeah, it's hard to fish around in that canvas bag because everything is all kind of squished together. Yeah, all right. Bachelor and pick. 2 types of nacho. See, I can do the 3D spin. Yeah. What did I miss? Let's see. Jesse says, saving all the cool shaped waste flakes from my Atlatl bow making kit. Shavers with 90-degree angle, long ones for making saws, etc. There you go. Johnny says, no tissues, please. Yeah. Hey, Danny's here. And Doghouse is here. Hey, folks, I'm not too late this time. Nope, right on time. As long as you make it before the end of the auction, you're on time. All right, let's see. Mike says, Jesse, if you're using black locust for your bow making or Atlatl, make sure you put a needle tool to get rid of thorns in your hands. Make sure you put a needle tool. Yeah. Yeah, if you're gathering a bunch of locusts, you're going to get thorns for sure. Ellen says, tough spore boppers. I can hear them screaming. This material is tougher than petrified dinosaur dung. Let's see. Mike's boppers are requesting fancy obsidian from Bill Taylor, says Alan. Yeah, they are. The boppers like obsidian for sure. Much better. Rice says, it mushrooms and becomes a copper nacho. Yeah. Alina Sundragon says, is it nappable? I mean, petrified dino poo? Yeah, some of it is. Yep. I have tried only petrified seashell inner part. It was really bad. Yeah. You never know. But I've seen a couple of points made of petrified dinosaur poo. Yeah. Or they call it coprolite. It's a petrified coprolite if you want to be specific. Okay, fine. If you want to act smart. Okay, all right. Coprolite. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I used on the Knife River Flint. I used a lot of indirect percussion to answer your question, Marty. I think that's the question. Yeah, Mike Tuff says, yeah, my boppers prefer obsidian. Yeah. Under the leg with a Kelly strap. Okay, so Marty uses a Kelly strap. I see. Bill Taylor says, I never used Mike's tools. I make most of my own. Yeah, same here. But when he sends me stuff, I gotta use it, and then I like it. It's like, hey, Mikey, he likes it. Yeah. Same with Ted Snyder. Sent me some of these for free, and he says, "Can you try it out?" I said, "Yeah, sure, of course. If you send it something for free, I'm gonna try it out." And sure enough, hey, Mikey, he likes it. So yeah, I like these boppers, and they haven't broken yet. I haven't broken the wooden one. I broke the epoxy one, and I loosened the head on one of them. But I'm gonna pin it. I'm gonna pin this one to the wood after I re-glue it. Yeah, this is like my favorite size. It's like a 9-ounce. Yeah, my favorite size for almost everything is the 9-ounce or 8-ounce, something like that. The writing wore off, so I can't see it, and I don't have my scale to weigh it. I need to bring that scale into the studio here so I can weigh stuff. When are you going to start napping again? That's all I want to see. Just look at another video. This is a live stream where we goof around, okay? I'm not going to be napping the whole time and telling you this angle, that position, this position, and all, and weigh it and measure it. I'm not going to do all that on the live stream. I got people commenting. All right? Okay. Let's see. What did I miss? Mike Tuff says, oh, yes, I remember now about the copper mushrooming. Yep. It's a thing on the Nachomatics. You got to watch. It's a very particular type of tool, but it's worth it. Yes, it is. It gets you out of bad situations. Elk horn for a mallet. Yeah, instead of using this, you can use antler. And I suggest if you want the best antler for the mallet, it's Axis deer antler. AXIS. Axis. Do I have a piece of it? No, I was just looking at it the other day. Yesterday, I think. Everything is yesterday for me. So it could have been 2 years ago or 2 days ago. It feels like yesterday. Anyway, yesterday I was looking at my Axis deer antlers, and I'm going, dang, this is sweet. Someday I'm going to raise my own Axis deer. Yeah. And I'm going to get them antlers for free because right now they're a fortune. Yeah. I'm raising the first couple of deer that you buy, that first couple of Axis deer are going to cost a fortune. Yeah. Yeah, they are. But after that, if I can breed them, maybe they'll pay for themselves in 40 years. Yeah. All right. By the way, the prices are going. Or I can just sell some babies off and then recoup my money. Yeah, I can do that. So yeah, I want to raise some deer. That's one of my goals on my bucket list. Axis deer is probably the Axis deer and the red deer. That's the two I want. Okay. Why? I don't know. Don't worry about it. Ed Gould is here. Let's see. He says, I've always had trouble with the pointed notchers. They work like a wedge and split the piece, so I made mine flat and narrow. I see. Ed says, I hit my thumb with a big bopper of moose and it's still effed up 20 years later. Yikes. 20 years ago, you were using moose antler? I mean, moose? Yeah, antler. I guess everyone was using moose antler 20 years ago. I'm trying to think. Yeah, everyone had huge, gigantic boppers. When I first started napping, which wasn't all that long ago, it was like 15 years. It seems like a long time, but it really isn't. Anyway, everyone was using ginormous hammerstones and ginormous boppers made of antler, and I guess a lot of them were moose, but they were using white-tailed deer, large white-tailed deer that I don't know where they get them from. But yeah, there's such things as gigantic white-tailed deer antlers, apparently, and using large copper boppers. You know, big, heavy copper boppers for small stuff. Why? Let's see. Mike says, speaking of goofing around, I found a ricketts point in the garden. What's a ricketts point? Let's see. Who else is here? Mike Tuff says, Mike, he's making fun of you, not me, when he says, Mikey, he likes it. You'll never know which Mikey I'm making fun of. Let's see. Ellen says, allergic hobbit voice, why do you talk so much smack? I just want to know everything. Let's see. Roy says, I made a slotted pressure flaking pad from an Expo dry eraser and I can't wait to test it out. Hey, now that sounds okay. It seems a little bit too flexible though. I can't use flexible pads. For me, you can if you want. I don't care. Jesse says, don't forget Patrick has merch. My shirt is in transit. Yeah, don't forget. And Spring is based in California. It's not something overseas. Well, hopefully they don't send it from a sweatshop in Taiwan or something. That'd be terrible. I got to look into that. Yeah. Cost a pretty penny. I ordered samples for myself so I can see what the quality is on stuff. And those are in transit right now. Let's see. So yeah, I have merch. I'm going to start doing some artwork for my merch soon enough. Yeah, instead of doing back orders. Yep. Mac Bale says, I think Danny Collins raises some exotics. Yeah, if you're in the chat, Danny, let us know if you raise some exotic deer or whatever. Red-eyed Patriots here. Okay, it's okay, Mike. Mike is here. Everyone say, all the mics say hello to all the other mics, so that way I'll get confused. Yeah. Miyamoto Musashi, 5 Rings on audiobook. The thing about detachment has been resonating with me. Yeah, the void. Musashi talks about the void. Eventually, that's where you want to be. You don't want to have to think about everything. Yeah, you just do it. You get so good that you just do it. All right. Whew, now that was good, but I didn't get the crack out completely. I scooped it slightly, but it's all right. See, there's a crack right there. So I'm going around it. See, everything I'm doing right now is just prepping for the major removal. But I have to make sure the ends are thin first before I do a lot of removal from the middle. Okay? New guys sometimes forget that. Old guys sometimes say that's not necessary. Old guys and new guys in napping. Yeah. Come on. Oh, it's so crunchy right there. See that? It's a bad spot. Yeah. Every ruck seems to have a spot on it that you go, what's going on here? What in the wide world of Flintknapping is going on here? I don't understand it. I got merch that says, what in the wide world of Flintknapping is going on here? Yeah. Oh, yes. What you want is a coast to coast flake that does not take the other side off. See, it didn't take the other edge off. Yeah. I snuck it off. It's got sneaky. Voila. Mm-hmm. You got to toss the flake when you say voila. You got to toss the flake. You know how there's a meme where you sprinkle the magic dust. Well, you can toss flakes similar to sprinkling magic dust. Yeah. That's not what that means. Okay, fine. All right, here we go. Oh, take it. Yep, it's gonna be a problem. Look at how deep that is. I'm just gonna have to make a long, narrow point like no one likes. No one likes me to make long, narrow points. What, are you kidding, man? Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah, I am kidding. Apparently, everyone wants to see me waste all the material so I can make something long and narrow. Yeah. Apparently, that's the way it goes. For the same length, it's funny. I can make a wide point and I can make a really narrow point, and the narrow one smells. Yeah, that too. Sells for more. The more narrow it is, the higher it goes in price. It's weird. Anyways, where did I miss? Makes me a flake, says Mike Mason. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Roy says, I usually pressure flake on my old leather wallet, and the Expo eraser is made of some type of styrofoam that's harder. It might just be less shock absorbent. Yeah, I guess so. Ed Gould, it's hard to say what you'll see in the wild of Texas and Oklahoma. Yeah. Ed says, my brother in law caught 2 emu. Really? Mike says, I think that's a good idea, Roy. Yeah. The Expo Expo eraser as a pressure pad. Interesting idea. Mike says, I usually pressure flake on my pants against my thigh. I got new gloves and pressured a hole right in the palm. Still using it, I guess. I guess I'm as tough as woodpecker lips. Ed Gould says, drop the mic. No, I don't know what that means. Mike says, I'm napping weird today. Mike Mason, why is that? Russ Wellman, no lurking in the background today, but I gotta go. All right. Good to see you. It's only been 30 minutes though. We'll see you next time, Ross. The next live stream is Friday. Ellen says, fair warning, if I go silent, I probably fell asleep. I clocked out 5 hours ago. I'm having flashbacks of last Wednesday's live. Okay. Alina Sundragon says, I made a pad for pressure flaking, gluing 2 old resin trowels for wall plastering, and then carved a shape until it fits my hand. That's interesting. Yeah. I like to make Flintknapping tools out of something that's already existing. So that's interesting. Jesse says, I like the long, narrow lance points too. Yeah, I knew it. Roy says, we all like to smell rocks. It's okay. Some are sulfury when you smack them. Mike Mason says, did Patrick not know what a rickets point is? I'll do a short with it then. Yeah, I don't know what a rickets point is. I think you mentioned it before because it sounds familiar, but I don't know what that is. Maybe I knew it one time and I forgot. I think it's come up in conversation before, but it didn't stick. It's not in the Oracle as far as I know. When I consult the Oracle, I don't think I remember seeing rickets points. Where's the Oracle? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'll live longer if you don't worry about it. Yeah. I can't live if I don't know everything. I can't stand being alive when I don't know things. It's the not knowing that kills me. Okay, fine. I already forgot what it was that I was talking about. You distracted me. So now you don't get your answer anyway. Some people have made comments in the past. Dude, who are you talking to when I'm doing my videos? How's he doing that? Is he doing live streams while he's napping? I hear someone else having a conversation with him. That's just me, silly. It's just me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, on the live streams you get to see some stuff that you don't normally see. All right, so I'm trying to do a couple of things here, and neither one of those worked. The flake coming down into the piece snapped, and the flake going across the piece snapped. What do I do in those circumstances? I have a compartment in my brain that says, okay, we got to switch to damage control. All right, let's switch to damage control. Why don't I always do damage control? Because doing damage control wears me out. Yeah. If I have to do it through the whole process, it's even less enjoyable than it already is. Yeah. The process for me is not what I enjoy. I enjoy the result of the process. Like I enjoy the result. See, when the flake goes like that, that's kind of cool. But to get that flake, I didn't even try for that. I was thinking of doing something else, and it didn't work. but I'll take what I can get. That's another one. Very similar. But what I'm trying to do is get the backside of that step fracture, and it's not doing it. I should use indirect percussion. That's the problem. Yeah. Damage control is best done with indirect percussion, I think. Mm. All right, let's see if I can do this. Yeah, it's not doing it. It's not doing it. Not with the bopper. All right, what did I miss? Let's see. Ross says, get a tea time. See you all Friday. Okay, see you Friday, Ross. Ed says, drop the mic or toss the flake. Mike says, maybe I'm napping weird because I broke one I didn't want to break. Yeah. Just turn it into powder, make a powder point, and you'll feel much better for the next one. Alina says, Roy Browski, yes, sparkles and a little bit of smell. Yeah. Talking about stone, it smells sulfury, probably. Alan says, Ricketts points are related to Keith points. Just more booty. Mike says, okay, Ed, because I was sweating bullets. I'm number 3. Yeah, we got to start numbering the mics. Roy says, sometimes I think the allergic hobbit voice sounds slightly Mexican. Sometimes it does, yeah. Yeah, I call it the troll voice. Some people call it allergic hobbit voice. The troll voice. Sometimes it's a little bit Mexican-y. Sometimes it's not. Yeah. Yeah, there's 2 versions of it. I don't want to leave anybody out, right? Do I speak Spanish? I speak a little bit of Spanish. Half my family, basically, on my side and on my ex-wife's side. Well, my ex-wife's Hispanic, and her whole family's her just about speaks Spanish. My mom spoke Spanish to me and we spoke Spanish to each other until I was like 5 years old. And then she wanted to learn English, so she stopped speaking Spanish to me. So I can pronounce things in Spanish. If I read Spanish, I can pronounce it. But I forgot all the words. So I know very little. I got to, get back into it. But every time I try to learn Spanish, it gives me a headache. And I don't know. I don't understand why. I've tried many times. But I can read it, and I can sometimes say stuff if I practice it. Yeah. And I know the Spanish, not Spanish, but I know the Hispanic accent because I lived for years with Hispanics from South Texas, and my mom has an accent as well. Right? So now you know. And my mom is one of those white European Mexicans, Spaniards. Yeah. Everyone, let's see, we moved from Texas to New Hampshire. My dad was in the Air Force, right? When my mother and father were married, he was in the Air Force. They moved everywhere. We ended up in New Hampshire, but my mom is from northern Mexico. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that, but I think I was talking about the accents and stuff. Oh no, she's one of those Spaniard Mexicans. And when she came to New Hampshire and tried to speak English, everyone thought she was German because she's got red hair, but she dyed it blonde. And she goes, "No, I'm Mexican." And people would go, "What? I'm from Mexico." "What? You don't look like you're from Mexico." As far as my indigenous background, I'm 1/8 or almost 1/8 indigenous. And it's probably from my mom's side. So like between 11 and 12% indigenous. and it's Pueblo Indian heritage. Let's see. That was a long explanation for my accent. Okay, let's see. What did I miss? What did I miss? Let's see. I did miss some things here. Clint Stoner says, really digging the new studio space, Patrick. Much better than the van. Yeah, definitely. But this is only up for Wednesdays. I still nap in the shop outside for everything else. I'm not going to nap more than once a week in the house. No, no, no. I plan on doing other things in here, like assembling arrows and stuff in the studio here, and shutting all the windows off, and maybe doing something with higher quality audio. Shutting the windows off, closing all the windows, so I can shut out the outdoor noises and neighbors and stuff, and do some higher quality audio on the videos. But I need to get another camera too, so that's in the future. But thanks. I'm glad you like the new studio space. Mike says, Roy, it's a Texas thing. Took a while for me to lose mine. Yeah. Besides, I have a Texas ish influence to the way I speak. Aaron Wilson says, looking to pick up a new set of boppers. Can you recommend a seller? Aaron, where have you been? Where have you been? I don't want you to feel bad, but it looks like you've been living under rocks because Danny Collins and Mike Tufts have teamed up to give us excellent boppers. Okay. Uh, Let me get the business card from Danny. Right? I think I have it out here. No, I don't have it. Tell me that's not true. I just saw it the other day. Okay, someone will tell you, right? But anyway, Flintknappingtraditions.com is Danny Collins' website, and that's where you get the boppers. That's what I recommend. Now, you can always go to other sites as well. There's another site called Flintknappingsupplies.com or Flintknapping Supply. I don't know if there's an S in there. But Danny Collins' site is Flintknappingtraditions with an S.com. And Mike Tufts, who is in the chat, provides or supplies Danny Collins with boppers, but I think you might be able to buy boppers off of Mike Tufts as well. Everyone will fill you in, I'm sure. Let's see. Yeah. Ed Gould says, Mike Tufts makes the boppers? Yeah, see? Even Ed knows. Where is this now? Where am I now? Rockin' Pop's Adventures checking in, Patrick. Like the new setting, but where's the pig? That's over there. Yeah. This is a different room where I can have this permanently set up. I'm going to do a better backdrop eventually. Probably more natural looking, right? These are just curtains I bought for the house, temporarily set up. The other curtains were too dark. Yeah. And people were saying, yeah. And this is a little more neutral, this lighting, because of the colors are all kind of the same or at the same level. Let's see, whatever that means. The pig is in the frying pan, says Alan. Yeah, exactly. Aaron says, I can make you a set. My email is in my channel description. Yeah, so get together with Mike Tufts. He just responded, and I'm sure you saw it already. Mike Mason says, that thing about you speaking Spanish reminds me of my grandma, Polish immigrant family. She wasn't allowed to speak Polish because the family wanted her to assimilate. She can't remember any Polish. Yeah. See, my ex-wife is fluent in Spanish. She's bilingual. She's fluent in Spanish and English. And even then, what was funny is we decided that we were going to start speaking Spanish in front of the kids as much as we can. And we started doing that, right? And the kids go, "No, don't speak Spanish. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. No." So we tried to do it and they hated it. They couldn't stand it. No, they don't do it. They kept saying, "Don't do it." Okay, we won't do it. Fine. You don't want to be bilingual? It's easier for us. Uh, but they still picked up the accent. Like they still picked up an accent from South Texas where everyone speaks with this valley kind of, Rio Grande Valley kind of accent. Uh, it's funny. Let's see. Jesse says, you made a powdered goldstone on that one defective piece. Oh, yeah. That's all. It was crackly, or how should I say this? If you watch the goldstone unboxing, some of those samples crumbled into little bitty blocks. I don't know how to explain it. Let's see. Roy Browski says, imagine learning actual Nahuatl language of Mexico. Yeah, that won't be easy. Aaron says, thank you, Mike Tufts. There you go. Roy says, my big brother has Blackfoot Indian percentage. I see. Mike says, you're welcome, Aaron. Keith says, I'm here now. Start the live stream over, says Keith Ricketts. I wish I could. Yeah, everyone says hi to Keith. All right. Where am I on the chat here? Mike Mason says, Mike Tufts, I know where a kayak thief lives now. Just gonna find his stash spot. The mystery of the kayak. It's been going on for a few weeks now. Ed says, I don't see the lamp at this auction. I didn't see the lamp at the auction. Was I supposed to auction off the lamp? I don't remember. I don't think so. Alina says, burlap canvas is good for a background. You know what? That's a good idea. Mike says, oh, Mike, I see time to pull some recon and make a plan. Yeah. Hey, Sal's in the house. He says, I'm here, and I hit the like button. Yeah, look, we've got 18 likes and 36 people watching. We must have a lot of people missing fingers. Yeah, which is fine, right? We're all old. Most of my clients, I was going to say, most of my subscribers and watchers are 55 and older, so they might not have proper finger action. Yeah, lots of arthritic people watching. Maybe I'll cut you some slack if that's what you do, or if that's what you are, or if that's what you got. Keith says, dang, I was late and I still beat Sal. Yeah, that's unusual. Everyone says hi to Sal. Sal says, I'm easily beaten all the time. Mike Mason says, pretty sure that Blue Goldstone was supposed to take you to the end in a world where everything is made of blocks. Yeah. Keith found a Ricketts point in my garden. Keith, I found a Ricketts point. Your people have been everywhere. Alan says, a few of us found Ricketts points, Keith. You totally missed out. Better late than never. Release the hounds. Yeah, release the hounds on the people who don't hit the like button. Andrew Muntz says, I'm 21. There you go. See, you're the exception. You're the exception in many ways, Andrew. Yes, yes, yes. So if that's something you like, then be proud that you're the exception to in many ways. Let's see. So Andrew says, I'm 21 for the 30th time. Well, there you go. Got me. You got me on that one. I don't know. I can't remember how old everyone is. You can tell me you're 50 one day and 20 the other day, and I'll say, wow, that's cool. Roy says, any tips on how to avoid getting ticks on you when in the woods? Are you asking me? Because I have tips on it. Yeah. And I'm not even kidding. I bought permethrin in the spray bottles. It says permethrin's like 9% or what. It's not DEET, right? I don't think it's permethrin, and it's specifically for keeping bugs off of clothing and other things. You can spray it on boots and spray it on other stuff. Anyways, you take your clothing that you're going to wear to go out in the woods and you spray it with this mist. You mist the clothing with the permethrin, turn it over and mist it again, and then let it dry. But don't soak them down. It's just get the mist onto the clothing and then let it dry, and then you can put the clothing on. Don't put the clothing on wet, and don't spray that spray on you when it's wet. And that permethrin actually kills the bugs. Not only does it repel, but if the bugs start climbing on you, if they stay on your plants or your clothing, you can spray on all clothing. If they stay on it long enough, they just drop off sick and then eventually die. So not only does it help to repel the bugs, but it kills them as well. And typically what I do when I get back from a trail, if it's a summer or spring, or I know that ticks are out in great numbers, I will remove, when I get home, I'll take the clothes off, stick it in a plastic bag, and spray permethrin in the bag and close it up. Take a shower, check for ticks, make sure I check everywhere and pull off any ticks. Usually you can, if you pull the ticks off within 24 hours, usually you're not going to get contaminated with anything. No disease. So make sure you get the ticks off within 24 hours. The sooner the better. And here we're lucky because the ticks are not really, really tiny. But I've been to Tennessee where the ticks are extremely small. There's a variety of tick. I can't remember what it's called. Somebody knows. And I had one of those on my ankle, and it buried itself. And these little just very tiny ticks. They're not chiggers, right? They're just, you can see that they're ticks, but they're very tiny, and they embed themselves halfway into your skin almost, and you got to dig them out. And I had a spot that looked like a bad mosquito bite for like 2 weeks. I guess I'm allergic to tick bites as well. Alan Cole says, Roy, buy permethrin spray. See, I read your mind, or you read my mind. Sometimes you can find it at the Rid brand at your local store in the pharmacy area, used to treat head lice. I buy it off of Amazon. Yeah. Hey, Aaron is here. He says, for ticks and chiggers, just take a sock and fill it with the sulfur powder, and then pat your ankles and shoes down with a sulfur sock, and you won't have to deal with any ticks or chiggers at all. Yeah, I've tried that too, but I still get ticks that are crawling all over the place. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Harley or Smallzilla says, if you have pets, be careful with that permethrin spray. It's pretty nasty to them. Yes. So be sure to spray it in a spot where they won't be rummaging around until it's dried. Yeah. Don't let anything get exposed to the mist or to the wet clothing. If you mist them down, and don't breathe it in, and don't apply it to your skin while it's wet. But when it's dry, it has very little effect on humans and most pets. It might affect birds more than other pets, but I'm not sure. Alan Cole says, spray your boots and clothes and let it dry. Happy woods hiking. Yeah, I have to do that now. Every time I go to the trail now, I'm here in Vermont. I got to spray the clothes I'm going to wear to go to the trail. It's a hassle, right? But I got to do it. And then ever since I've been doing that, spraying with permethrin, I don't get ticks on me. Well, I can't say that because no matter what I do, I always get one, at least, maybe two. Even with the permethrin on, I'll spray also the DEET spray on me as well as have the permethrin, and I still get a tick on my clothing somewhere. Luckily, I haven't found any on me. Yeah. Seed ticks. There it is. Mike Mason says seed ticks are just baby rocks most of the time. What? But anyway, they're the very small ticks. I got one on me in Tennessee, and I had to dig it out, and I had a spot. on my ankle for 2 weeks. Anybody else checking themselves for ticks right now? Yeah, it just gives you the EBGBs when you talk about it. Alan says, Harley, excellent advice. Less toxic to dogs, very toxic to cats. Okay, yeah. All right, I didn't know that. So, yeah, keep the permethrin away from the cats. All right, let's see. Oh, we're getting better, but there's still a crack in that. Right in the middle, of course, right in the middle. But I'm switching over to damage control mode, which requires a little more focus, so I can do the hocus pocus. Yeah. That was not that good, actually. Even with more focus, sometimes you don't get the hocus pocus. Can you see the angle? No? That's okay. Even if you could see it, and even if you got the protractor out, you wouldn't get the angle right. I guarantee. No one's been able to do it yet. No? So we just give up. Yeah, you're never going to get to measure the angle, so just give it up. That's what I say. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Even if you do get the angle exactly right, you will never get the force exactly right. You will never have exactly the same stone that I have, and you won't know how much I've backed it up against my hand exactly. And you won't know how much I resist. Sometimes I resist this way too. It's not just this way, but I'll time it so that I resist that way at the same time. You will never get that right. So there's too many variables to try to scientificalize it. Okay? All right. It would help if you use scientific terms instead of saying stuff like scientificalize. Oh, believe me, I went to engineering school at the University of Texas. We got our heads flooded with engineering terminology and all that stuff. I hated it. Not only because it was unnecessary, because they made you regurgitate it. Like in record time, you'd say, the teacher would say, okay, read this book, and in 2 weeks we got a test. And that's the first part of the semester. Read the book, and we'll test it in a couple of weeks. And the book is like that thick. It says, yeah, I want you to be familiar with all the concepts, and I want to see how you have absorbed it. We're going to weed some of you guys out. No offense, but if you can't read a book like this that thick in 2 weeks and take a test on it, you don't belong in this class. It's like, what? It's like someone who loves pizza. Oh, I love pizza. I love making pizza. I love eating pizza. I love smelling the pizza. I love everything about pizza. And then you go to a pizza school that teaches you how to be a good pizza maker and a good pizza taster. And they say, okay, you're going to make this pizza in 15 minutes and you're going to eat it in 3 minutes. What? You can't savor? No savoring. Learn them this. We're going to learn a new pizza every 5 minutes. You got to memorize the menu. You have to memorize the ingredients. You got to learn how to cook this. And I expect instant results. I don't care how much you like pizza. You're going to hate pizza by the end of this class. That's how they treat the engineers. You're going to hate it by the end of this class because we're trying to get rid of people. Yeah. And guess what? It works. Yeah. Why do they want to get rid of people? Because they want to have a good reputation. University of Texas Engineering School, they want to be able to say, we only graduate the most dedicated, the most fanatical, and the most talented engineers. Yeah. We don't want to graduate anyone that uses terms like scientifical. Yeah. No goofballs. Yeah. So I'm a goofball. Yeah, no time to learn exactly what's going on. Yeah, and it's like if you love pizza, but you're expected to eat one in 3 minutes, the whole pizza. I expect everyone to eat the whole pizza, not just one pizza. You got it? But that's ridiculous. You don't just do what I say. And if you don't like it, then go out the door. And it was the same thing in the military when I became an officer. They treated us the same way. So I was not new to it, but it still sucked. Yeah. I said, man, I'm getting this treatment in the military and in college. Yeah. And guess what? I got the same treatment in my marriage too. Yeah. So after a while, I got used to it. And by used to it, I mean sick of it. Who's sending me messages? Let's see. Hey, Pat, look at the chat. You're missing the chat. You're going off on tangents. Danny Collins sent me a message, but that was a while ago. Who sent me a message right now? Why did it go dee dee? Nobody. It's just a weather update. Let me see here. Where did I miss? Oh, I missed a lot of stuff. Let's see. Andrew Munt says, when my girlfriend and I go hiking, she just breaks wind and everything dies within a mile radius, bugs included. You don't want to admit that in the chat. Let's see. Mike says, baby ticks. God, I can't spell baby ticks. I don't know. I'm not going to go back and check. Oh, okay. Seed ticks are just baby ticks most of the time. Well, yeah, they develop over a period of 2 years, right? The first time that they start landing on you, they're just babies. But the smallest baby ticks that we have around here are, they're not that small. You can see them; they're very noticeable. But the baby ticks, so to speak, in Tennessee, there's a variety that they're extremely small. They're smaller than a millimeter across, and they're reddish. Let me see. So if you have people get these red spots on their skin, right? And you're going, is that a red spot or is that a tick? And you have to examine yourself very, very closely. Just so you know. Buddha Cat is here. Got back from Arizona with some nappable stone and fossilized sponge and would like to gift you some if you want it. How can I get a hold of your email address? Another person who's living under a rock. Yeah. Anyway, you can get my email address right here. jackcrafty2 at gmail.com. jackcrafty2, the number 2, at gmail.com. jackcrafty2, all one word with the number 2 at the end, and then the @ sign, gmail.com. jackcrafty2 at gmail.com. That's my email address. And send me an email. Roy says, has anyone else heard having a lot of garlic in your system helps? Yeah, I've heard that, but it doesn't help with social gatherings. Sal says, the other day I parked under a huge live oak, killing time with the windows down, and had a tick crawling on me. Flicked it out. I'm waiting for one to bite me and give me great napping abilities. That would be awesome. Let's see. Mike says, doesn't help much, Roy. I'm growing so much hard neck garlic, I could kill a hive of vampires. I'll eat it raw and I love to pickle it. Wow. I don't like garlic that much. Well, when I was eating it, I can't eat it anymore. I've noticed that it gives me a reaction. Let's see. Yeah, Sal says, I'll keep waiting. Keep waiting for a tick to bite you and give you superpowers. Yeah. Mike Tuff says, that's an interesting test to see if you belong in the class, but I would have simply brought out an old erector set and said, build something. No, they just make it difficult for you on purpose, and they tell you up. They say, if you can't keep up, you don't belong here, and we're going to make it difficult on you. And they tell you outright. Same in the military. Every time I go to training, it said, you have the option of opting out. There's the door. We'd rather have you head out the door than to hold up everybody else. And then some guys just walked straight out. And in college too, the teacher says, uh, I will give you a lesson. There was guy was a German guy. He says, I will give you a lesson. You read the book. I will teach the lecture and I'll read and then I'll tell you to read the book. But he said the TA is the one that's going to help you. He said, I will not help you. So we had to go to the TA, which is the teaching assistant. And when I got to UT, because I didn't know about teaching assistants until I got to UT Austin. What is a teaching assistant? It sounds kind of sketchy, like it's not a real class. So I missed an entire semester. I never went to one teaching assistant session. And then I realized that all my grades went down by one letter grade because of that. So then I had to start attending not only the lectures, but the teaching assistant instructional periods. And the teaching assistant instructional periods were not in the syllabus usually, so we don't know in advance when they're going to be. They post the session on the door of the lecture hall, and they may or may not be there. So, and I was living off campus, so I had to drive to one of these teaching assistant sessions. I remember one time, and canceled. And I'm thinking, okay, it took me. I had to move heaven and earth to get to this session last minute because I just saw it posted on the lecture hall door yesterday. So I had to cancel everything else. I'm married. I'm living off campus. I got to drive in through traffic, and I get to there and it's canceled. And it says, okay, now it's at this certain time. And that certain time is not convenient either. It was such a pain in the butt in many, many ways. Yeah. What did I miss? Let's see. Alan Cole says, pizza is all I can handle nowadays. Pizza. Yeah. A pizza with nothing but meat and no dough, right? You can make pizza on an egg base, right? Is that how they make it these days? There's bread that there's stuff that looks like bread made from eggs, right? Is that what you guys using for the pizza? I got to go on YouTube again and look it up. Ellen says my favorite balls are goofballs. Let's see. I don't want to read some of this stuff. What are you guys talking about? Mike says those might be wood knights, not ticks. Angry little buggers. No, they were ticks. The ones that I got, the little bitty ones. Yeah, baby ticks are technically nymphs. The more you know. Yeah, they are. I can't spell wood mites. Wood mites. I don't know. Maybe. Mike Tuff says, I'm so glad I went to technical college. Yeah, I ended up going to technical college. Totally different ball game. I got a degree in drafting. Yeah, I spent time at a regular college. 4.5 years. I had a 6-year program because I didn't want to go in the summer times. So, no, I'm not going to summer times at all. Not only is the heat terrible in Texas, I just had mental difficulty studying in summertime. Besides, I had 2-week training periods with the National Guard every summer. So I looked at the schedules and stuff, and sure enough, yeah, the 2-week training periods were right in the middle of the semester. There's no way I could do that. I can't miss 2 weeks out of a semester. So I had 2-week training periods with the National Guard every summer. That was bad enough because we did them in Texas. Yeah, most of my National Guard experience was in Texas. Yeah, I guess all of it. Although I did, I tried to get back in the National Guard when uh, I had moved to New Hampshire uh, in '95 with the family. With at that time my ex-wife and my first daughter, and I wanted to live there and work with my dad. And then I was thinking of joining back up with the National Guard because I got out, but I could always get back in. I signed up for a 10-year stint, but I could have gotten back in. But I didn't get back in. Long story short, no, no. So I did all my service in Texas, and at every summer, triple digits, and you had to sleep in a barracks made of concrete that would heat up during the day, and at night it would not cool down. No, so it's like 100 degrees still in the barracks, and there's no AC. All they have is big fans. Yeah, everywhere we went, the same kind of barracks, concrete. Let's see. Yeah, I went to drafting school, and it was a totally different experience. Yeah. Killer Cork says, "Hello, Patrick and the gang. Got off work early today. Oh yeah, we got 45 minutes left." Mike says, "Hey, Killer. Now, not every college and not every curriculum in college wants to weed you out. Okay, because I know some guys that majored in English and majored in history and majored in film and studio, whatever it was. They had not the same experience at all as I did. They did not have anything like they looked at me like I was talking Russian or something when I was explaining what I went through last semester. They go, "What?" Heck, they said I would show up for 5 minutes to the lecture, collect the materials. I didn't even have to listen to the lecture, and I would make an A or B on the test at the end of the semester. I just went in 5 minutes to collect the materials and pass in my assignments or whatever. 5 minutes and then walk out of most of my classes. That's what they say. And they say I only stuck around in my classes that I liked. And then no homework, basically, just a little bit. I could do it in an hour, maybe. And then go party the rest of the time. Go meet up with girls and stuff. I'm saying that's nothing like I experienced at all. Absolutely nothing. I have to attend the full lecture. I couldn't understand the lecture, even with all the notes I was taking. So I had to go home, study my notes. Then I had to read the books, the entire book in the first couple of weeks, usually. Uh, and then go to all the teaching assistant uh, lectures. And then go to the labs. There were labs on top of that. There were lab periods. Uh, and then I was living off campus, so I had to commute to and from the college. And the parking was terrible. That's why people live on campus so they can walk everywhere. They don't have to park. I got towed twice off of campus. And once is because the guy didn't like that I had parked near this apartment complex. So he put a brand new sign, no parking, and then called the tow truck. And I was only gone for 20 minutes and there was no sign before. So I was the first guy that they towed out of that spot because he just put the no parking and called the tow truck people. That got me so angry that I ended up, um, what did I ended up doing? Yeah, I ended up having to walk. I said, I'm just going to walk. I'm going to park way off campus and then walk to class. No more looking for parking spaces. Yeah. So then I would take extra time to get to classes and get back to my car. Yeah. Absolutely no fun times whatsoever. Yeah. And 6 to 8 hours of practice homework every day. You had to practice because you had the equations, you have the terminology, and then you had to understand. You had to actually do the quizzes in the book. You can't just read the book. The professors wanted us to do the quizzes in the book, and they said to get you to do them, they say, I'm going to pick questions on the test at the end of the semester from quizzes in the book. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Clint Evans says, I finally get to make a live stream and they're all talking about sea ticks. I love this community. Yeah, I got sidetracked and talked about college also. Let's see, what is it? Uh oh, I missed a lot of chat. Let's see. Mm-hmm. What is this? I missed too much. Da, 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 da. See, do wood mites bite? Is a question by Ralph. Mike says, this chat is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. That is true. Ralph, they definitely bite wood, says Alan. And Doghouse says, I went to UT Austin too. You could never see your teacher. You're lucky to see a TA. Yeah, to make an appointment to see one. Yeah. Killer Cork says, hey, Alan, Keith, Ed, ladies, yay. Lads, or is it ladies? Red Eyed Patriot says, looks like my membership has paused. I think my card is messed up. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Roy says, someone once told me beer was just bread in a can and lettuce was crunchy water. That sounds pretty right. That sounds correct. Correctamundo. Alan Cole says, REP, likely excuse, you're a YouTube convict. I don't know what that means. How much wood could a wood mite bite if a wood mite could bite wood? Killer Cork says, a lot. Wood mites bite the hell out of wood. Red Eyed Patriot says, he could bite as much wood as a wood mite could if a wood mite could bite wood. Ralph says, is Alan making some coffee? Sal says, it's heating up in Texas. Patrick, ready to come back? No, I am not. I am so glad I am 36 hours away. Killer Cork says, that's what I need. I'll be back. What do you need? Coffee? To stay awake during the live stream? Because it's so boring? Alan says, Ralph, my heart doesn't like too much caffeine. I'm down to 2 cups a week. I have to do some decaf. That's pretty good if I want to taste. Yeah. I just add like a pinch of coffee to some hot water, and I'll like last night I was craving coffee, and that's what I did. It works a little bit, kind of, sort of, but I can't drink coffee anymore. Not a lot. The only time I drink coffee is like on Christmas, my birthdays, maybe New Year's, and maybe 4th of July or something. Just on holidays. That's all I can handle. Let's see. But I got lots of coffee that I need to grind up. Let's see. What are we talking about? Jaws now? Wood mites will bite you. Smallzilla or Harley says, parking at my college was absolutely horrible. I lived off campus, and during COVID, I was too afraid to take the buses. So I walked a 4-mile round trip almost every day. Got pretty good at it. Yeah, but I was stupid because they have shuttles. Who knew? I didn't find out about the shuttles on UT Austin campus until I started driving a taxi in Austin. I was a taxi driver in Austin for a while. And I was driving students around, and they said, oh, I'm glad you showed up because the shuttle wasn't running and I was late. The shuttle? Yeah, the UT shuttle. What UT shuttle? The shuttle. Oh, I could have saved so much time if I had known about the UT shuttle. And I would say, oh, yeah, okay. I remember now. I was so stupid. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else I missed. What else did I miss in college that could have helped me a lot? I think I missed a lot. But I had enough of that environment after 4.5 years. I mean, my grades just started tanking. I got severe depression. I was not eating right because I was just grab and go, and I can't spend a lot of money on stuff. Uh, at that time, you could still pay part of your college tuition if you have a job, and you wouldn't be taking out too much student loan. So, working part time, going to school full time, living off campus, and all the bills that has to do with, your apartment and stuff, and being married and all that. Oh God, I don't even want to think about it. Jesse says, Patrick, you get a chance to try no acid coffee. It's great. I have not tried it yet. The no acid, I haven't tried it. The low acid, I did try one, and what was the experience? Hmm I think it was the same. It felt the same. I gotta try the no acid because the low acid is probably like 1% less than the regular acid. Whatever. I don't know. I gotta try it. Something that would work. Ralph says, yes, we are docked in St. Michael's, Maryland until 3 a.m. What does that mean? You're a truck driver? Keith says, holy spherical flakes, Batman. I logged on and then my phone died. Now you can start over again. Oh, dang. Keith, you missed a lot. We talked about all kinds of things that will make you an excellent napper within no time. Let's see. Alan says, Ralph, I'm heading south in the morning, doing a camping and fishing trip with a couple of friends and the dogs. No limit on smallmouth bass in the Umpqua River. Patrick's favorite kind of limit. Yeah, no limit is my favorite limit. Anything that has no bag limit is my favorite thing to catch or to hunt for. Yeah. Yeah, if you can fish for that fish any time of day with any kind of lure or any kind of bait, and there's no bag limit, like especially invasive species, heck, man, that's my favorite. Yeah, I'll bring my bow. I'll bring a bow and arrow with a line attached to it as my fishing gear. Heck with the fishing poles and the spear. Yeah, you going hunting? No, I'm going fishing. You going fishing with that? Yeah, I'm going fishing with this. Haven't you ever seen that before? No, I never seen that. You need to get a rod and a reel and all kinds of lures and all kinds. No, I fish for no bag limit, invasive species, any time of night or day with any equipment. That's what I do for fishing. And then they kind of look and say, "Man, this guy's weird." You have no idea. Mm-hmm. Red Eyed Patriot says, "I'm waiting on my first week suspension to be over. I got stuff to post, man. Made 5 points and a video on my grandfather's knife he made during World War II. Oh dang. He made a knife during World War II. What did he make it out of? A spoon from the mess kit or something? Mike says, talk about having fun bow fishing. It's some guys, it's them river with the invasive carp that jump out of the water. Oh yeah, those are cool. Yeah, you can't get any more awesome than that if they just jump it in your boat. Yeah. I'll face snap the crap out of them carps. As for corn, sounds like a catfish man to me. No, I don't like catfish. I will shoot the catfish and I will give the catfish away. I will save it up, cut up nuggets, and freeze them and say, anybody want catfish nuggets? Yeah, me, I'll do it. If you coat them with cornbread, coat them up first so I can just fry them. I'll do everything for you. I will not eat them. Yeah. Let's see. So I will eat carp over catfish any day. I don't like catfish. Carp. Yeah. Ellen Cole says, downside is that I'll probably miss the live stream on Friday, but if I have reception, I'll send Patrick some photos during the stream. Sweet. Smallzilla or Harley says, me and my buddy have been bow fishing for 7 years, and we have yet to find a way to make carp taste appealing enough to enjoy. Maybe it's something in our Iowa water. Yeah, it could be something. It does taste like a swamp creature to a certain extent, but you've got to add what did I use? Yeah, carp tastes a little mossy, so I think I put carrots and celery in the soup because I used to make soup out of the carp. The carrots, the celery, kind of blended in, and then whatever else. I would put lemon on it after it's cooked, and you take it out of the soup, and you take all the bones out. Squeeze lemon in the soup. That's the way I would eat it. Yeah, any time of day, no bag limit though. Yeah. Uh, Ask for corn says yes, because I've been fishing with the light at night. It didn't work all that well because for some reason, I guess it was the time of the season. The fish were all at the bottom. We had a little fish radar or whatever it was. We could see where the big carp were, but they wouldn't come up to where the light was, and none of the fish were coming up to the light except for little ones. So we couldn't. I mean, it was okay. It was fun doing that at night, but we could never get anything to come up to us. I got to try it again sometime. Around here, there's not too many invasive species, unfortunately. Uh, let's see. Red Eyed Patriot says a PAL cutlery stacked leather handle and carved down a broken bayonet for the blade. Made a leather sheath with wooden insert too. Wait till you see it. All right, cool. That sounds cool. Yeah. Ralph says smallmouth bass are very aggressive. I like using my 7-inch ultralight rod to catch them. My 7-foot ultralight rod to catch them. They bend the crap out of the rod. I see. Carp recipe, says Alan. Heavily seasoned something. Place heavily seasoned board. Place the carp on the board. Bake it at 300 to 30 minutes. For 30 minutes. 350 for 30 minutes. Let me start over. Carp recipe, heavily seasoned board. Place the carp on the board. Bake at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. Throw away the carp and eat the board. I knew it was going to be good. Red Eyed Patriot says, Cork is pretty cool, man. I'm big into military history. It's pretty cool. Mike Mason says, be curious to know how you are doing your carp, Harley. Yeah. There's some meat on the carp that's reddish. It's right along the midline of the carp on both sides in the fillet. If you fillet the carp, there's a midline of red meat. You take that out and you can give it to your cats or whatever. Yeah, that one doesn't taste that great. The whiter, lighter colored meat on the carp is what tastes just fine. It's actually pretty good. I like it better than catfish. It still smells and tastes like a swamp critter, but I think it's much better than catfish. Yeah, and you can make nuggets out of it too. I didn't even get into making fish nuggets. But at the time I was eating a lot of carp, I just make soups. Ask for Corn says that's the same recipe I use for hardheads on a cedar plank. Yeah, I have yet to try cooking fish on a cedar plank, but it works. Scott Lauer, hey trippers, hey Scott. Scott's from the UK. Say hello. Yeah, it's getting late where he's at. Let me take out the indirect percussion flaker and see if I can finish out this. The lighting is changing because the sun is now behind some storm clouds. It's really dark outside, and it's not even supposed to be dark. These storm clouds just rolled in all of a suddenly while I was distracted and talking about stupid stuff. All right, buckos, I'm going to use this indirect percussion rod so that you can see the angles. Yeah. Ready? Let's see. Let's see the angles. Let's see the magic. Let's see the abracadabra hocus pocus while I focus. Yes? Mm-hmm. So far, I'm not knocking any big chunks off yet. Hold on. I'm going to miss some of the chat, so pardon me while I'm going to thin this down. This is what I got so far. Okay. I can't really see very well. The lighting changed all of a sudden because the sun went behind the clouds. These big old storm clouds rolled in. Let me try to do most of this before it starts pouring out, because I'm going to have to close the windows. I've got most of my windows open. The screens are in place so that no bugs get in, but the windows are all open. Ooh, this is tough. Hold on. See the angle? Get your protractor out. I'm going to change it here in a second. This doesn't always stay the same. So get your protractor that automatically adjusts for subtle deviations in angles, okay? Or you can film this in high-speed camera so you can see just how I did that. And you can get the velocity of this and estimate the weight, so you know the force and you know the vector. Yeah. After you get the forces and the angles, you can get a vector. And then you can try to imitate it. Or you can just do the same thing over and over again until you get different results. Yeah. You'll never get it scientifically correct. So just do what people say is insanity, because they don't know anything about skills. Just do it over and over and over again until you get different results. You don't have to worry about all that scientific stuff. Yeah. People call it insanity because crazy people don't like skills. Yeah. I find out that people like to do just to command things into existence. Yeah. They don't like to have to use skills to make anything exist. Crazy people are like, if I want an arrowhead made, I'll hire someone to do it. Yeah. That's the smart thing to do. No. I mean, you can, but it's not the smart thing to do. One of the reasons is because it's hard to hire a Flintknapper to do it in the first place. Yeah. Second, you usually don't get what you want because it all has to do with stone availability. And third, it gets kind of expensive and pricey. Yeah. Especially if you want something to spec. I've cut people a lot of slack in the past when I should have charged a whole lot more for knapping to specs. It wastes a lot of material. If you want a certain point style of a certain size of a certain material, the price it doubles every time you add a condition. It should have doubled and I didn't do it. And I got burnt out. There's no way I can do things to spec these days unless the price is ridiculous. And even so, even if I charge a huge price, there's still no guarantee that I'll get it on time. Get it done on time because there's an element of risk. I could break everything I'm doing, especially if I want to just put my nose to the grindstone and get it done. Just knock it out. I don't care if it's 2 a.m. Deadline's tomorrow. Need to send it out. You end up napping at 2 a.m. and you break everything. It's not worth it. Not only are you up really, really late, you're stressing yourself out, and you still didn't get it done. Yeah. How do I know? I don't know. And some guys say, I never had a problem with that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I never had a problem with that. I can always knock mine out. Put my nose to grindstone, get it done. Yeah, but you're doing flake over grind. I know you. I know you're grinding all your preforms perfectly. You've got these huge forearms built up from pressure flaking sessions that you do 6 hours at a time. I know you. You can do 10 flake over grind points before 10 a.m. Okay, I've heard all that. Yeah. I don't do that kind of stuff. No. Should I? I'm thinking maybe I should. Maybe I should, so I don't talk all this smack and just get it done. Yeah, and stop being the complainer. Stop being the complainer. You're such a wuss. Yeah, maybe I should. Hold on a second. I'm a little distracted. I'm going to try to catch up with the chat in a minute here. I want to try to get this thinned down and shaped so I can show you how I'm doing it. The hits vary in intensity and angle and location on the point. Everything's pretty random. It seems, but there's a method to the madness. You have to prioritize where you're going to hit. It's a strategy to try to ensure success. Taking into account there's a lot of risk, and you got to hit extremely hard. As it gets lighter in weight, you've got to hit harder to get these longer flakes. Like that long flake at the end there. What did I do with it? That was the hardest hit so far of anything, and it's already really thin. So this is when it gets what I call into the sweat stage. Yeah, because it's nerve-wracking. You got to hit harder to use the weight of the workpiece against itself, because I'm not backing it up too much to my hand right now. Why? It tends to overshoot if I put too much support into it. I don't know if that makes sense. Other guys don't have that problem. If I hold it too rigidly, I get an overshot. So let me see. 344. Let me just try to finish this out as a preliminary biface. Without step fractures. Yeah. Step fractures not allowed. Stupid. What am I going to do? Yeah, that took care of that step fracture. That'll teach you. That'll teach you the step fracture right in the middle of everything. The stone is not liking it. It's getting more difficult to nap because it's the center of the Tootsie Pop. As usual, I can tell already. Okay. Yeah, it's dicey. These hits are so dicey. Almost every time I hit it, it can break it in half. Yeah. You gotta do it. I hate to do it. Just a little bit longer. What do I got? I'm missing some of the chat. But you guys can talk amongst each other while I try to do this. It's taking me a little bit longer than I thought. Here we go. No, not like that. No, not like that. Yeah, like that. Oh. Yeah, like that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, I shaved my knuckle again. No, it's not good enough. Alrighty. Yes, that's good enough. Let me try to catch up with the chat. But yeah, I thinned it down from where it was before, and I try to eliminate all the step fracturing and get some bold flakes across the face. So bold flake there, bold flake here, which was good. Well, I was not able to get them to travel very easily on this side, mainly because the edges are starting to get thin. I skinned my knuckle just then, trying to do it fast. Yeah, fast usually fudges it all up. Anyway, that step fracture is not too difficult to remove, especially if I have meat. Yeah, I've got some meat on this side. I'll just make it more narrow for the guys that like it narrow, and then shoot a flake from somewhere. I can also pop that out of there, probably. Let me see. Where is it? I don't see the. There it is. There it goes. Ooh, that flew over into my shipping stuff. I have all my shipping boxes and stuff here in my studio. All right, so I took the step fracture out from the middle there. The ends are thinned down good enough to be a preliminary biface. Yeah. So from this shape, I can get, almost any point style out of it. How long is it? I don't know. I need to get my flint stretcher out. It's almost 5. Yeah. But hopefully you can see how hard I was hitting it. All right, so what did I miss? Okay, what did I miss? Talking about tilapia now. Tilapia Lake bass drop. I didn't know that. Okay, smallmouth bass. Let's see. Yeah, this is from you, Sal. It is a piece of chert, and it feels raw now that I'm napping it. I thought it was a heat treat, but yeah, it's from you. Senku is here. I missed your entrance a while ago. Let me see. Let's see. Cedar on any burned wood out of the dumpster even tastes better than a hardhead or a carp, really. As for corn, really doesn't like carp. That's funny. Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot we were Flintknapping. Yeah. Hello. Everyone says hello to Senku. And I read that one. Ralph says, my favorite smallmouth bass bait is hellgrammites. They are dragonfly larvae and have powerful jaws that can pinch your finger bad. Added fishing excitement? Ouch. The bass smashed them hard. Interesting. Yeah, but where do you get the hellgrammites? Let's see. Same recipe for duck, says Richard McIntyre. I missed it. Mike Mason says, I always pull the mud vein out of my catfish. Can't stand them in any way but smoked. Panfish, I scale, bake, and then remove meat. Put it in a saucepan with beef bouillon and onion taco seasoning and add lemon juice. Wow. Senku says, I like Peking duck. Yeah, I do also. Ralph says, that sounds like a good idea, Keith, keeping the live stream going longer. Helger bites? Says Killer Cork. And Doghouse or Danny says, we have a lot of tilapia and lake bass drop. I made a bow fishing rig, but found out it's illegal to bowfish in Lake Bastrop, so I made a couple Hawaiian slings, but they've already spawned. I see. Yeah, some of these lakes are very particular. You can't do uh, Well, it depends on the fish, right? You can if it's an invasive species, you can usually use whatever tackle you want and any time of day, except explosives. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think there was a. I think I saw a video on a commercial outfit that was using some explosives to stun the fish, but this is only in places where they have extremely bad invasive species like carp. Yeah, let me see here. Alan Cole says, Ralph, there are approximately 44,000 smallmouth bass per mile on the river I'm heading out to. Tons of options for lures and bait. We'll probably use mostly weighted jig heads, hooks with soft baits. Hmm. Smoked fish is the best. Oh, yeah, smoked fish is the best, I think, too, with fish soup being a close second, and then followed by fried fish. I cooked some carp, used Old Bay seasoning and lemon. Tasted like crappie. I see. Now, I don't know if that's a play on words or not. The tilapia tasted better, says Jesse. I see. Tilapia is pretty good. I like tilapia. Ralph says, Patrick, is that Georgetown you're napping? No, this is like a Pedernales, almost root beerish type of chert from Sal. It's not Georgetown. No, Georgetown will nap a little bit easier than this, as far as running longer flakes. I had to work to get these bold flakes. I don't know if you saw how hard I was hitting to get the bold flakes on that side. I'm going to have to make this more narrow to get bolder flakes on this side. They're just traveling to the middle and that's it. I got to have them travel a little bit further than that to get the bold flake look. But I mean, it looks all right. Yeah, and yeah, this can be used just like this as a knife. You dull the bottom part, but I don't see many artifacts that look like this other than in Central America. Uh, Old Bay seasoning is the way to go. Yeah, it's a good seasoning. I don't know if it's the best though. I just like straight salt nowadays and butter. If you want carp, go to Long John Silver's, says Mike Tubbs. Alan says, I like the twin tail soft baits, pumpkin seed, and black with chartreuse tails are a couple of favorites. I don't know anything about these. Pumpkin seed is good, Alan. I use cotton candy lizards also. Interesting. Red Eyed Patriot says, my son in law bought me a couple of rods and reels, ugly stick glow tip rods with 90s Zebco 33 Classic and copper top Zebco 600. I don't know any of these things. I show up to a fishing outing with a bow and arrow, basically. I do have fishing poles. I can't say that for everything. Mike says, nice combos, Mike. Sal says, give me that copper rod. That copper red eye. Give me that copper red eye. I don't know. Oh, red eyed patriot. Mike Mason says, Sal, we'll nap a fish with it. Okay. How many mics are there here now? There's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. 4 if you count this, the microphone. Mike Mason says, when Mike Tuff says carp jumping in the boat, I refrain from saying a dirty comment. Yes, refrain from saying dirty comments, especially if I don't understand them. Yeah, there's a lot that I don't understand in these chats. Let's see, where am I? Tommy Taylor says, I arrived in time for the booby prize instead of the door prize. Yes, yes, 4 minutes to go. You get your questions, comments, and complaints in before it's too late. Ralph says, Alan, oh yes, the killer Ned rigged jig. With that many bass, they'll attack anything. Smallies are a favorite of mine. Smallmouth bass. I don't know my carpet carp. Sometimes they're the same. Okay, some people, I guess there's lots of spelling errors going on. Someone gave me $5. I think it's Keith. $5 super chat. Thank you, thank you. Red Eyed Patriot says, I'm going to do some fishing live streams soon. Yes, yes. Good, good. Sal says, it's heated. Just might be tougher. Okay, so Sal said this was heat treated, but it just might be tough. Yeah, the center of this Tootsie Pop got pretty tough. I got some nice flakes off of it. Yeah. But yeah, the center of it is starting to get tough. Interesting stuff. It's not glossy. So just because it's heat treated doesn't mean it's going to get glossy, in case you don't know. Let's see. Aspercorn says he uses a dip net and doghouse, or Danny says white paddle tail rocks for largemouth. Let's see. Helgramites are the best for trout as well, says Aaron Wilson. You get them from flipping over rocks in the rivers. They live under rocks like me. Blades. Sal says, that would be cool, Mike. Not Mike M and not Mike T. Yeah. Let's see. Red Eyed Patriot says, if you saw how they farm tilapia, you'd second guess it. Yeah. I've seen some of those farms. Keith sent me a super chat and he says, that like button is costing me $5, so go hit it if you haven't already. Yes, yes. Definitely do that. K Money is in the house. Yeah, trout do like Helgramites too, says Ralph. Yeah, K Money. Keith is K Money. Ed Gould says dragonfly larva is Helgramites. Okay. I think I'm getting an education on this. Yeah. But we don't have very many dragonflies around here. I guess I got to start breeding Helgramites, and then we can get some more dragonflies. I like dragonflies. Last time I was, well, not last time. Yeah, last time I was here over the summer, there was very little dragonflies until extreme late summer, and then the flies disappeared. But there were flies all through summer. Last summer I was here all the way through summer, and I'm thinking, where are the dragonflies? And where are the wasps that collect the flies and stuff? They were nowhere to be seen until very late summer. Yeah. I guess there was a kind of a droughtish conditions. All right, so 1 more minute left in the chat. All right, you guys, 1 more minute. Get your comments, complaints, and suggestions in before the bell. And next live stream is Friday night. Yes? Yeah, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, which is an hour earlier if you're Central time. Yeah, from 7 to 9 p.m. Central time. There's not very many people on the Mountain and Pacific times. So, yeah. And we just talk about anything we want. I don't do any napping on any of my live streams until Wednesday. Then I do napping on Wednesday live stream. I didn't phrase that one correctly, but yeah, I do 2 live streams that are just chat and one where I incorporate napping. The Wednesdays is the napping live stream. And I have it in the title, I think. No, I have it. It says channel news. Yeah. I try to put the hashtag Flintknapping in the Wednesday live stream titles. I got to go back and check if I've added that. I think I've missed it on several of the Wednesdays live streams. Best group, Alan says, best group of humans on the planet here. Much love, Air Buddy. Yes, yes. Hey, TJ's new life is here. TJ's from Australia, the land down under. And he says he's late. Well, yeah, it's already over. It's 4:01 Here, local time, Eastern time, it's already over. You're 1 minute after the bell. Yep, yep. Last call, says Mike Tufts. Bill Taylor says, my Wi-Fi is so slow. Today it's going to take like 6 hours to watch it later, guys. That's a long time, yes. Sal says, okay, guys, y'all stay flaky, my friends. Yeah, stay flaky. Excellent. Hit the like button, TJ. Yep. Even if you're a minute late, you can still hit the like button. Yeah. Ralph says, zippity, skippity, whoop, whoop. So much fun here. Ed Gould says, keep them flying and off your back. Yeah. Mike Tuff says, take care, everybody. Have a good one, Patrick. See you on the next one. Yes, yes. We'll see you on the next one. For sure. Let it run for another hour, Patrick. TJ deserves it. Yeah. I wish I could. I got a lot of stuff I got to do. Yeah. But these live streams are fun, and you get to ask questions in live time and watch some napping from the front view instead of just the first person or whatever they call it, first person view. Yeah, if you can hit the like button, we got a pretty good number of likes. The like button is hit. All right, we have achieved like buttonage. Later, dude, says Danny. Okay, I'm gonna call it. We're good. We're good. We're good. I'm gonna say goodbye. You skipped mine. What? Who did I skipped yours, Ed? I don't know. Alrighty. Yeah, I probably skipped some of the chat trying to catch up. Alrighty, later on. We'll see you on Friday. Or if I do a video before then, I might do a video tonight. Alrighty? Take care now. Bye bye.